Assalamualaikum. My name is Wan Muhammad Hafizul bin Wan Hanafi, a final year student, Bachelor of Science with Honours Physics at UiTM Jengka, Pahang. My supervisor is Dr. Muhammad Shafi'i bin Mahmud, and in this video, I will be presenting my final year project entitled Fluorescence Effect via DFT Simulation of Chalcone Derivative of Different Crystal Structure. This is overview of my presentation. Background of study. Chalcone, or also known as chalconoids, are natural compounds that come from flavonoid family. This figure shows the 3D skeletal structure of chalcone. Chemically, chalcones are made up of two aromatic rings that bonded at both ends of 3-carbon alpha-beta unsaturated carbonyl system. This is the systemic IUPAC name of chalcone, and the chemical formula of chalcone is C15H12O. Chalcone derivatives have wide potential application in photonic, optophotonic and photosensitive sensor due to their photophysical and photochemical properties. Literature review. According to Shruti 2020, computational technique have known as reliable and effective technique in the study of molecular structures because of their accuracy and low computational cost. Density functional theory (DFT) is one of the computational techniques in molecular modeling. Chalcone derivatives have been discovered to be one of the fluorescent chemosensors that are widely used to detect anions, cations and compounds. According to Liu 2019, chalcone derivative can be developed into a low toxicity fluorescent probe that can efficiently detect thiophenols. The crystal structure is important in molecular studies because the different crystal structures of the same type of molecule will have the different physical and chemical properties. For example, according to Arshad 2017, in biomedical studies, chalcone derivatives that have almost alike structures have a different mechanism to kill cancer cells. According to Veller and Beberan Santos 2012, fluorescence occurs when the molecule is excited by absorption of photon and then relaxes to its ground state and produce a radiation pathway or emission of a photon that is also known as fluorescent emission. Problem statement. Recently, there are a lot of applications that have been proposed to use chalcone derivative either in biological or chemical activities due to their promising properties. However, according to the past work of literature about chalcones and their derivative, there is a very little report and there is no systematic approach that elucidates the luminescent mechanism of chalcone derivative. Therefore, there are crucial parts in chalcone photoluminescent properties that have not yet been understood to fully utilize the photoluminescence for a certain application. Objective. The objective of this study are to determine the chalcone derivative that exhibit the photoluminescent properties and to do a systematic study via DFT simulation about the crystalline chalcone derivative electronic structure that exhibits the photoluminescent properties. Significance of study. As mentioned earlier, this research is about the study of fluorescent effect via DFT simulation of chalcone derivative with different crystal structures by using computational technique. This computational study aims to give benefit to experts about this related topic by unveiling the new knowledge about chalcone derivative with photoluminescent properties. Besides that, this study also beneficial for researchers that will either do their future study or use chalcone derivative in their research. This study may also reveal some new potential application of chalcone derivative that may simultaneously benefit some industrial field that depends on the luminescent compounds. Furthermore, due to the inexpensive and naturally occurring compound, chalcone derivative also can be the substituted compound in an application that is related to luminescent, photoluminescent detectors and others. Methodology. This study of fluorescent effect on chalcone derivative is fully implemented using the computational method by using software Material Studio 2017. The visualization and theoretical calculation of chalcone derivative and the fluorescent effect were carried out using the density functional method DFT with the Dimortri package. In this study, 4-dimethylamino 2'-hydroxychalcone DHC and 3'-dimethylamino 3-nitrochalcone DNC will be used as our chalcone derivative. Firstly, chalcone was constructed in Material Studio interface with 3D atomistic document. The structure was then optimized to ensure the stability of the chalcone derivative structure using GGA with PBE exchange correlation functional. There are 5 parameters that were studied to elucidate the fluorescent effect of the chalcone derivative, which are the density of state, HOMO-LUMO, band structure, electronic density, and the charge population analysis. Result and discussion. From the molecular structure of DHC and DNC, they have near planar molecular structure in a relaxed state that indicates a higher probability of intense fluorescent effect. And from these figures and tables, we can observe that both DHC and DNC crystals are monoclinic crystal system. From the density of state dose analysis, for both DHC and DNC, we can observe that there are peaks from the valence band to conduction band pass through the Fermi level, which shows that there is a high probability of electronic transfer during excitation and relaxation between the valence band and conduction band that will result in fluorescent emission. We also can see that DHC has more unoccupied energy states near the Fermi level than DNC. That indicates DHC has more available states that can be excited. From the partial dose analysis and electronic configuration of atoms of DHC and DNC, it is clearly shown that the p orbital is the main contributor to the Fermi level electronic occupation for both DHC and DNC molecules. From HOMO-LUMO analysis, we can see that HOMO and LUMO of DHC are delocalized over the entire molecule of DHC. This shows that HOMO and LUMO in the DHC molecule form a bridge to the electronic jumping from HOMO to LUMO through the entire molecule of DHC. This indicates that DHC has a high probability of intramolecular electronic transfer, which increase the fluorescent ability. However, HOMO and LUMO of DNC are separated far from each other. The HOMO of DNC is mainly accumulated on the benzene ring with the dimethyl amino group, while LUMO is located on the benzene ring with the nitro group. This reduces the ability of fluorescence in DNC compared to DHC. From the band structure analysis, DHC has 1.552 EV band gap, while DNC has 1.083 EV band gap. Therefore, DHC has a wider band gap than DNC. This gives DNC a slight advantage in excitation energy compared to DHC. Even though HOMO and LUMO of DNC separated from each other, low band gap shows electron in HOMO easier to be excited to LUMO state. And from the band gap values, expected maximum wavelength was calculated and both wavelength lies in the infrared region. Moreover, the visualization of the electronic density mapping of DHC and DNC shows that there is a high probability of finding electrons in both molecules, especially on the double bond, benzene rings, and oxygen. As we can see on these figures, red region shows higher electron concentration region. This indicates that a rich electron molecule may be a requirement for a good photoluminescent material. Lastly, the charge population analysis shows the behavior of functional groups that attach to chalcone that forms the HC and DNC. We can see that the dimethyl amino group and hydroxyl group in the HC act as electron donating and electron withdrawing groups respectively. We also can see both dimethyl amino group and nitro group in DNC both act as electron withdrawing groups. This leads to the electron push-pull pairs behaviors that induce the fluorescent emission. Conclusion: DHC and DNC have a high probability of electronic excitation and relaxation between the valence band and conduction band that will result in fluorescent emission. HOMO and LUMO of DHC spread throughout the entire molecule, while DNC separated on each ring of DNC indicates that DHC has higher chance for electronic jumping and fluorescent emission. DNC has lower band gap compared to DHC. This gives DNC a slight advantage in excitation energy and higher chance for fluorescent emission. High probability of finding electrons in both molecules, especially on the double bond, benzene rings, and oxygen, which shows a good requirement for a photoluminescent material. Functional groups in DHC and DNC act as an electron donating groups and electron withdrawing groups that lead to electron push-pull pairs behaviors that will also result in fluorescent emission. Therefore, from this theoretical calculation, we can conclude that DHC and DNC crystal structures exhibit photoluminescent properties under specific conditions. Future work. For the future work, as in this study, both chalcone derivative are monoclinic crystal system, it is recommended to use other crystal structures such as orthorhombic chalcone derivative to study their differences in electronic structure for photoluminescent properties. It also recommended to study the electronic structure of other types of crystal structure of DHC and DNC that are available.